A car swerves towards you. In a single instant, your heart slams, your hands go cold, and the whole world snaps into slow motion. The danger passes. You are fine, and something strange happens. Under the fear, a part of you feels electric. Awake. Alive. You feel that same rush before a big talk, on a high ledge, deep in a horror film, on a first date. The same heat in the chest. We call one of them fear and the other excitement, but your body makes no difference between them. It is the exact same chemical. And here is the uncomfortable part. Some part of you is quietly addicted to it. Most people think a racing heart is a problem. Anxiety, a weakness to fix. It isn't. It is one of the oldest and most powerful survival systems ever built into a living thing. It is a big reason your ancestors lived long enough to have you. By the end of this video, you will never feel that rush the same way again. To understand it, go back to the world it was built for, a world where in a single second you could become prey. Picture your ancestor at a watering hole, calm, thirsty, and then a single twig snaps in the grass behind him. Before he can even think the word danger, his body has already changed, completely, in a fraction of a second. Deep in the brain, an ancient alarm fires. It does not wait for proof. It assumes the worst and acts. It floods the body with a chemical you have heard of, adrenaline. And the world is never the same for the next 30 seconds. His heart doubles its speed, slamming blood and fuel toward the muscles that will run or fight. His pupils blow wide open to let in more light. His vision narrows and locks onto the threat. The airways in his lungs snap open. He gulps more oxygen with every breath. Fuel dumps into his blood. His muscles are suddenly loaded, primed, trembling with ready energy. And pain almost disappears. A wound that should drop him barely registers. Not now. Survive now, hurt later. Even time seems to slow. The brain records so fast that a few seconds stretch out long and strange. In that moment, he is, briefly, a stronger, faster, sharper animal than he could ever be at rest. This is fight or flight, and for hundreds of thousands of years, it was the difference between living and dying. Now think about why this had to feel so overwhelming, so total, so impossible to ignore. The ancestor who felt only a mild concern at that snapping twig did not run in time, and he did not pass on his genes. The one whose whole body screamed run every single time, even at a false alarm, lived to be afraid another day. So nature did not build a gentle warning. It built a violent, total takeover of the entire body. And it gave it 3 settings, not one: fight, flight, or freeze. Sometimes the smartest move was not to run, but to go completely still and vanish into the background. That is why fear can root you to the spot, locked, unable to move. That is not failure. It is the third ancient option. All of this runs faster than thought. The alarm fires before the thinking brain even knows what is happening. That is why you can leap back from a snake before you have even seen that it is a snake. Your body decided. Your mind got the memo a half-second later. The ancient system does not wait for permission. And for our ancestors, that head start was everything. The ones who paused to think were the ones who got caught. So this terrifying total flood of chemistry was not a bug. It was a masterpiece of survival. But here is the question almost no one asks. If it is built for terror, why do we chase it on purpose? Why do we pay money to be scared? Why do we ride the thing that drops us from the sky? Why do we watch the film that makes our heart pound? In the dark, on purpose? The answer is the second half of the system. The part that comes after the danger passes. Because when the threat is gone and you are still alive, your brain does something remarkable. It floods you with relief and reward. A wave of dopamine and natural painkillers, a deep, glowing high. That is the body's way of saying one thing: you survived, do whatever you just did again. For your ancestor, that reward sealed the lesson that kept him alive. Face the danger, win, feel amazing. So we are left with a strange inheritance, the rush of fear chased by the high of survival. And the modern world figured out how to sell you that exact loop, safely, over and over. A roller coaster is a machine built to lie to your ancient brain, to scream danger while you are perfectly safe. Your body dumps the full survival cocktail, Then the ride ends, you are alive, and the reward washes over you. You stumble off, heart pounding, grinning, and you say the strangest thing. Let's go again. A horror film does the same trick through your eyes and ears alone. The monster cannot touch you, but the ancient alarm cannot tell the difference. It fires the rush and then rewards you for surviving a threat that was never real. Extreme sports, fast cars, terrifying climbs. Humans are the only animal that hunts its own fear for fun. We are chasing a controlled dose of the oldest drug there is, the one our own body brews, and like any drug, some people need more and more of it to feel the same hit. The calm life starts to feel flat. They climb higher, drive faster, push closer to the edge to feel that ancient spark. It is the same chemistry that once fired only when death was inches away. Now we summon it for a weekend. Think about what that means. The thing built to save you from a predator is now a feeling people fall in love with. The terror and the thrill were always the same wave. We just learned to surf it, and you can see the whole system rehearsing itself long before adulthood in children. Watch kids play. They run from each other shrieking. They beg to be chased. They love being tossed in the air. They build the jump a little too high, on purpose, just to feel the drop in their stomach. That is not random. That is the survival system practicing, in safe little doses, getting ready for real danger. The scream of a child being chased in a game is almost the same sound as real terror. Almost. But laughing, they are learning to feel the rush and stay in control of it. Rehearsing the most important reflex they own. The pull toward the thrill is in us from the very start. It was never taught. It was always there. Because a young animal that practiced fear in play survived the real thing far better than one that never did. So what happens when you take this ancient, life-saving system into the modern world? The world it was built for is gone. There is no predator in the grass behind you. Almost nothing here can eat you. But the alarm does not know that. It is still loaded, still watching, still ready to fire in a heartbeat. And now it fires at the wrong things. An email marked urgent. A message left on read. A number in your bank account. Your body cannot tell the difference between a charging lion and a frightening thought. It floods you all the same. Your heart pounds for a meeting. Your hands shake before you hit send. The ancient predator response aimed at modern ghosts. And here is the cruelest part. With a real predator, the rush had an ending. You ran, you fought, it was over. The chemical had a job, you did the job, and the body could finally stand down and rest. But a deadline does not end in 30 seconds. A worry you cannot run from does not let the alarm switch off. So the rush has nowhere to go. The fuel floods in, but you just sit there, still, at a desk. The system was built for short, violent bursts, followed by deep calm. Not for a threat that never leaves. And when that alarm is stuck halfway on, all day, every day, we have a modern name for it. We call it anxiety. The fight or flight system, firing at shadows, unable to find a lion to run from. The racing heart, the tight chest, the churning stomach. That is not a broken mind. It is a survival system with no exit. It is your ancient guardian, screaming about a danger that your body cannot fight and cannot flee. And the modern world keeps poking it on purpose. Every alarming headline, every angry feed is a fake twig snapping in the grass. We scroll through 1,000 threats a day that we can do nothing about. And the old alarm answers every one. So we live with a body braced for a sprint that never comes. Flooded, tense, and exhausted by ghosts. But understanding this changes everything. Because that rush was never your enemy. It is the same gift that let a fragile, slow, clawless ape survive a world full of teeth. The body that floods with fear is the body that is trying, with everything it has, to keep you alive. So here is the part that matters most. The part about you. The next time your heart pounds and your hands go cold, and the fear rises for no clear reason, do not fight it and do not call yourself weak. That surge is not weakness. It is power, looking for a direction. It is the same fire that made your ancestor faster, stronger, and sharper at the one moment it counted. Your body is not betraying you. It is offering you a burst of pure, ancient energy. The only question that has ever mattered is what you point it at. You can let it fire at ghosts, at headlines, at worries you can never run from, and it will wear you down. Or you can learn to feel that rush rise and step toward the thing that scares you and use it. Because the talk, the leap, the hard conversation, the bold move, they all light the same ancient fire. And on the other side of the fear is the same reward your ancestors felt. You faced it. You survived. You feel alive. That is why the bravest moments of your life are the ones you remember most. The rush burned them in. You are descended from 100,000 years of people whose hearts pounded and who acted anyway. Not one of your ancestors was fearless. Every single one of them was afraid and moved forward through it. The pounding heart is not the opposite of courage. It is the raw material courage is made from. So when the fear comes, and it will, remember what it really is: an ancient power waiting for your aim. The rush was never the problem. Living with it pointed at nothing was. Point it at your life, at the thing worth doing, and let the oldest drug on earth work for you. What is the scariest thing you have ever done that you are glad you did? Tell me in the comments, and subscribe. Here we look at the modern world and discover who we really are.